So once again, good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to have you tonight on our Training Transfer Effectiveness webinar series. Today is Thursday, February 12th, 2026, and I think this is our 33rd or 34th webinar. I can't remember. Okay. So welcome. So glad you are here. Welcome. So glad you are here. We are happy to have you whenever you are here. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for those that joined on time, most especially Thomas Emefiani. Thank you so much. Thank you. And let's get to introduce ourselves. Let's get to know ourselves. So please type in chat, type your name, your role, and where you're joining in from. So just three things we ask from you: your name, your role, and where you're joining in from. Your name, your role, and where you're joining in from. While you do that, I would start typing in chat. I will start sharing my own about myself. So this is me. For those that have been, I said, Chichi, welcome. I can see you. I see that you joined us today. So Chichi is not she's not an old bee. She joined 2 weeks ago. So she's an old bee. She's not a newbie. So we have Akimbola Samuel, Senior HR Manager from Lagos, Nigeria. Thank you, Akimbola, for joining in. So please just type in chat your name, your role, and where you're joining in from. Your name and role where you're joining. And if you're a first timer, yes. Chichi is clapping. She's not a first time. If you're a first timer. So this is me. My name is Sandra Iheanacho, aka the Oracle. I'm known as the Oracle in the training space in the L&D industry and HR space. And I am Africa's leading voice on training transfer effectiveness. So for those joining in for the first time, that is who I am. I'm Africa's leading voice on training transfer effectiveness. I started the movement in Africa for training transfer effectiveness, which you will get to see very soon what that means. And so let it keep coming. Let me see. I think I see some persons. So MFNet Thomas. Thomas is joining from Lagos. Thomas, let's know your role. Then Olusegun Akintola is a consultant in the UK. Welcome, welcome. Okay, so I'm known as Africa's leading voice on training transfer effectiveness. I started this, call it a movement. Yes, I call it the TTE movement. We want to start with Africa, Nigeria, Africa, and beyond, because also in the US, even in the UK, I'm sure you agree with Kimbola, that organizations are now talking about what's the impact of our training? What's the value of our training investment? And so I started the movement in Africa and in Nigeria, in Africa, trying to create that awareness about the value training can give, trying to help us to run away from training scraps. Whenever your people go on training and they do not apply it, there's no application, there's no impact, there's no ROE, there's no RI. If there is training scrap, you wasted your money. So should organizations in this tight economy, should organizations keep wasting money? And so that's the movement I am on and the journey I am on. I'm a mother of 5 children. I'm the CEO of Embrian Consulting Limited. Embrian Consulting Limited is the organization hosting this webinar. We started this webinar last year, January 2025, and every Thursday throughout the year, we kept running the webinar. And this year, we've come to continue doing the same. So it's our own way of giving back. It's one of our way of giving back to the community and to the industry. Then also, I am an IFC Global Master Trainer. IFC stands for International Finance Corporation. I'm a Global Master Trainer with IFC. I also work with the LP. I'm a certified assessor with the Learning Performance Institute. So I certify trainers globally. I'm also the transfer enabler for Africa with the Institute for Transfer Effectiveness. So everything you see has to do with what I am talking about. I'm talking about application, which is transfer. I'm talking about return on expectation. I'm talking about return on investment. I'm talking about impact. So every certification you see is geared to all those things I'm talking about. So not just I want to have the knowledge, the experience, the certification to back it up, the education, and that's all you see there. So the Institute for Transfer Effectiveness, they are into transfer of learning. They are the ones that came up with the 12 levers of transfer effectiveness. I'm also the Nigerian's first certified transfer designer. I'm a resource person in the Lagos Business School. I teach in the OB, Organizational Behavior and Human Resource Department. I've been with LBS since 2018. I also teach in their leadership. I'm more on the leadership area, AMP, which is Advanced Management Program, and the Authentic Leadership Competency. Those are the courses I take in LBS. I'm an ROI professional. I just finished last year. I finished my return on investment certification, and right now I'm doing my course. So by when I'm certified, you now see it to turn to a certified return on investment professional. I'm also a certified transformational coach, a certified team and group coach, a certified Kirkpatrick professional bronze level. I've also done the silver level last year. I'm also doing my my project. When I'm done with that, I become certified silver level. And these are the certification I hope to go through this year. I always say when you stop learning, you start dying. And that's why you see everything you're seeing. When you stop learning, you start dying. So that's a bit about me. Please keep typing into chat. Let's know who we have in the room. Let's know who you are, your name, your role, and where you're joining in from. I always start with there's a training transfer effectiveness journey begins or continues. So for those who are joining in for the first time, the journey begins for you. For those who are joining in, who have been with us here, the journey continues. And what we usually do, because we see people when they join in, we ask them, what do you think, what do you know about training transfer effectiveness? A lot don't know. And that was a feedback we got. So because of that, every webinar we talk about just briefly. So if you want to know more about TTE, training transfer effectiveness, go to our YouTube channel. Favor, please help us to drop in the chat box our YouTube channel, the link to our YouTube channel. Go to our YouTube channel and watch all the videos. It'll help you because we cannot keep talking about training transfer effectiveness every week. There are other things to talk about to help. So briefly, we'll talk about it to give you an idea of what it is, and we'll go into what we have today. So today we are looking at why strange. So this is a continuation of 2 weeks ago. Last week, I'm so sorry, could not meet due to circumstances beyond our control. And so from last 2 weeks, Chichi was here last week. So Chichi, so we are continuing. No, we didn't finish. I said we'll continue with this week. So this week we are continuing what we started last 2 weeks, talking about training transfer effectively. We're saying why training is more than an event. Training is not just an event. Training is a process whereby the organization is able to see application, see behavior change, see impact, see return on expectation, and see a return on investment. That's what training should be. Training is a key indicator for the business. The business should see training as adding value, not as an expense. A lot of businesses, yes, not just in Nigeria, over Africa, because I had the opportunity to travel to some African countries last year, taking this news to them. I was in most of the African countries, not just one. In all the African countries I went to, when I asked what is training transfer effectiveness, a lot of people don't know. Okay, what was the return on investment on the training you ran? A lot of people did not know. They didn't do it. Okay, what was your training budget? How many of your training where you did you see application? A lot could not. So this is all over. And this year, we hope to continue going to various African countries to talk about this and let businesses start doing something different. So today, what are we going to be doing today? What are objectives today? By the end of this webinar, you should be able to explain what TTE is. So when I say TTE, it's training transfer effectiveness. You should be able to explain what TTE means. List at least one reason each. Okay, one reason each why training fails in the three phases of training. So there are three phases of training. Okay, let me even ask. Let's start with asking question. What are the three phases of training? Is there anybody that has an idea? Okay, I see Olushola Akinto. Okay, we've talked with Olusegun, we've greeted him. Okay, Thomas too. Okay. So please type into chat or you can unmute your microphone. What are the three phases of training? Let's start with the what are the three phases of training? By the way, we make use of questions, poll when we can, and to ask try to make the webinar participative and participatory. Who has an, do you have an idea? You could type into chat. I'm looking at the chat box. I have another system on here. What are the three phases of training? There are
Okay,
three phases of
the
training.
three phases of training that the usually classify them as PDT. The first one is pre-training. The second one is during training. The third one is post-training.
Have you been watching our videos on YouTube, Thomas?
I was here last meet. I was here the first meeting now.
Okay, thank you so much, Thomas. Well done. So you've not forgotten, Thomas. That's
No.
great. Thank you so much. Yes, so those are the three phases of training. We have pre-training, during training, and post-training. And so that's what we're going to be looking at. Why training fails in these three phases. What are the things that organizations do wrong or do not do in these phases? And that's why training fails. Then the last thing our objective for this webinar is plan your next line of action after this webinar. What you want to stop doing, start doing, or and continue to do. Those are our objectives for this webinar session. And how are we going to achieve that is our roadmap. Introduce what TTE is. We get Q&A. Just I've already started that, asking questions. Then you will share your next line of action with us. Now, let me ask, what exactly is training transfer effectiveness? Thomas, I don't want to hear you speak. Don't speak yet. We have some persons that are here. Let's hear from them first before we have the newbies. Who has an idea? What would you say training transfer effectiveness is? Have you heard of that before? Do you know what it is? What will you say training transfer effectiveness is? Is there anybody that wants to try? Do you have an idea what it is? Okay, it seems we have a lot of people that just want to listen in. I get that a lot. I get that a lot. Thank you so much, Favor. Favor has posted our YouTube channel. Favor is my colleague. She works with us. Thank you, Favor. So you can click on the YouTube channel and you'll be able to watch all our 30-something videos. Okay, is there anybody that wants to help us? Nobody. Okay, Thomas, do you want to try? Since nobody's willing to help us, what exactly is training transfer effectiveness?
Okay, ability to put what you have gained from training into practice.
Yeah. Okay, that's part of it. Thank you so much, Thomas. That's part of it. That will be
Hi,
training
hi.
transfer.
Am I helpful?
Yes, Mercy, please go ahead. Yes, please.
I just want to agree or rather add something on what my previous speaker said.
Okay.
For me, when I hear, or even this is my first time here, I've seen this
Yeah. Oh, Mercy, we're not hearing you again. Oh, Mercy, we're not hearing you again. Oh no. And she was really saying something. She was saying this is her first time of joining us, and she was about saying something. We're not hearing you again, Mercy. Oh no. Okay. Okay, let's hear from you, Olabanji. Mercy, if you can hear us, please try and speak again.
Yeah,
I'm welcoming you as a new person,
can you
Mercy.
hear me?
Yes, we can hear
Can
you,
you hear me?
Olabanji. Yes, please.
Yeah, I, I'm Professor Oyewole. I'm speaking from Lagos.
Okay, thank you, Prof.
Uh, Training effectiveness basically um, is the degree to which employee, apply their knowledge, the skill, and the behavior, which we call the KSA, in order for them to gain in training. I mean, uh, basically to achieve their actual job and leading to improve performance. And uh, basically, when we talk about TTE, based on what I think I know, it
Okay.
moves beyond mere training, completion to how you measure how learning has been, assimilated, sustained,
Yes,
and at the
that's
same time
it.
generalized in the organization, that is in the workplace, which
That's it.
ultimately, like you said, should be able to impact the organizational return on investment. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Prof. I think, Prof, maybe that's why you're called a prof. Thank you. So you've taken the three parts. That sustainability was very, very key. How it is sustained, that was very, very key. Thank you so much. So training transfer effectiveness. So what we usually do, I always prefer. Yes, Prof. Okay. I always prefer starting from the beginning of what exactly what a lot of people call training effectiveness. You know what they call they call it, what we call it is training effectiveness. So let's start from there. So we have training effectiveness, we have training transfer, then training transfer effectiveness. So we are promoting as a business, as an organization, we are promoting the third one, which is training transfer effectiveness. So what is training effectiveness? Let's look at that very quickly before we go to what we have today. So training effectiveness is the extent or the degree to which training is successful in producing the desired results. And the example I always like using is what was the learning objective? So let's take, for example, a customer service training. The learning objective is that at the end of the training, the people will be able to demonstrate the feedback, how to give customers feedback. Maybe let's say it's a model or a framework on how to give customer feedback, or even how to answer the call. So at the end, you did a post, you saw that they were able to do it. Yes, the training was effective. Also, at the end of the training, you expect people to be able to score 90 over 100, all the people that attend the training. At the end of the training, you see people scoring 100 over 100, 95 over 100, 90 over over 100. You say, yes, the training has been effective. So training effectiveness is the extent or the degree to which the training is successful in achieving its results. The aim of the training, the objectives of the learning objective of the training, you've achieved it. That is what training effectiveness is. That doesn't mean that training will be those things they've learned will be applied. That doesn't mean those things they've learned will bring impact. That doesn't mean those things will bring return on expectation, return on investment. So that's just a tip of the iceberg. And that's what the Kirkpatrick, even RI, will call level 1 and level 2. Level 1 is reaction according to Kirkpatrick. Level 2 is the knowledge and the skill, the learning. So that's what we call level 1 and level 2. Also in RI, it is called level 1 and level 2 to reaction and also the learning. Now, the next thing is training transfer. And most organizations, this is where they stop. They stop in training effectiveness. Happy shits. We did a post today, there was a training on leadership. And at the end of the training, the feedback the employees gave HR, they gave wonderful feedback. They told HR that it was a group, you know how they have cohorts. It was a cohort of the leadership. And they said this was the best training they've ever attended since they joined that organization. HR was very happy. They gave the scores, they scored the facilitator 5 over 5. The average score was 4.9 over 5 after cumulative average score. The feedback they gave were wonderful. Satisfaction, wonderful. 3 months down the line, management they were having a management meeting and asked HR, because the training was quite expensive, so they were in batches, cohorts, and asked HR, what was the impact of the training? What was return on investment? And HR was just silent. Everywhere went silent. The HR director went silent. Everywhere went silent. And the HR director was wondering, but we just showed you that for 4.9 over 5, about the feedback they gave, they said it was the best training they've ever attended since they joined this organization. You saw the scores they gave. What else are you asking for? What else are you looking for? Was management wrong to ask HR? Level 1 and level 2 cannot give you, alone cannot give you return on investment, return on expectation application. No. That is training effectiveness. And that's where 99% of organizations stop at. No more. We don't need that again. What is training transfer? Is the extent to which people effectively apply what they learn. So same training, customer service training, they taught them a framework to use. They taught them how to respond to calls, and they went back after training. They did that. After doing it, maybe they did it for 1 week, 1 month, and they stopped doing it. But did they do it? Yes, they did it. That is training transfer. They were able to apply and demonstrate those behaviors they were taught. What they showed them they should be able to do. How you should make the call, they did that. How you should speak, they did that. But they got tired along the line. That is training transfer. Nothing. This will not give. When people apply a knowledge or skill for a short time, 1 week, 1 month, 2 months, cannot necessarily give you ROI and ROE. By the way, it takes between 4 to 6 months for you to see return on investment on most programs. You want to check for the ROI, right? So you can imagine. But this is where we are taking you to, and this is where we've been taking you to since we started this webinar, and this is what we live for as a business, as an organization. Training transfer effectiveness is the extent to which your employees apply the learned knowledge, the skills, and the behaviors consistently, leading to measurable performance improvement and business impact in the workplace. It goes beyond just training transfer, which focuses on whether employees apply what they learn to ensuring the application of learning produces tangible and sustainable results for the employer and organization. So training transfer effectiveness is a sustainability. How do you sustain it? Consistently. So meaning that you need to build in processes, you need to build in structures, you need to put things in place for your people to be able to, for you to see ROE, ROI, application of behavior, impact. So TTE is the ability and the extent to which the application of the learned knowledge and the skills that your employee learn from training are consistently applied in the business in a structured way, whereby there are structures put in place and you've created the ability for them to be able to apply that they've learned. That's only when you will see impact. That's only when you will see ROI or ROE. Okay, so let's move quickly to what we have for today. So this is something we usually do to at least to give people an idea of what training transfer effectiveness is. Before I continue, Mercy, do you want to share now? I know your line was having a problem, but you've come in. I can see you've logged in that. Do you want to still share now? Is that okay? Okay.
Hi, hello. I'm sorry for the challenges I had earlier on. I hope right now I'm
Okay.
clearly audible.
Very clearly, very clear.
Yes, I was saying the reason why, first of all, I was so much interested in this topic is because I've seen that it's in training and development. Being a HR professional, of course, we are engaged in that a lot. And personally, I also do train people. And therefore, just in layman's language, when I saw that, the first thing that came into my mind was, will people get value for what I've trained them for? For instance, I do have trainings on artificial intelligence applications in HR, of which is something a lot of people are struggling with. My question was, do people find this training really valuable to them? At the end of the day, do they say, I'm so grateful that I made this payment to Mercy. I'm so grateful that I learned about this. Or do they say, I regret actually going for that training because it was just like any other training? And so much disheartening, because the other day I had a meeting with my colleagues, and they were saying that their CEO was saying he doesn't trust trainers anymore because most of them are frauds. Why does the CEO say so? Of course, he says so because he doesn't see the value of the
That's it.
training. Yeah, that's why in as much as we are planning to do trainings, in as much as we call ourselves trainers, our biggest question should be, will they get the value? Will they get the return on investment? Can they call me once again? That's why I joined here. Thank you.
Wow. Wow. Thank you so much, Mercy. Mercy, please just drop your email address and drop your number. We will contact you. We will work with you. But that's it. Thank you that you're joining in for the first time and you saw this and that's why you joined and you're saying it. And that's what the CEOs are complaining about. They don't trust HR again. They don't trust L&D. They don't trust training. They see training as a tick in the box because they say it doesn't add value. Now, let me tell you something I always tell people. I teach in the Lagos Business School in Lagos, Nigeria here. And one of the programs I teach on is what we call OMP, Owners Managers Program. It's for CEOs that are doing 50 to 100 billion annually. Now, one of the CEO, I was taking one of the classes. I take them organizational learning. And guess what the CEO said? He said, Madam, all these things you're saying, I started a new policy in my organization. Anybody I send on training, I take it from their salary. Yes. And when he said it, all of us just turned on him and we're like, with our mouths open. He said, yes. He said, if we want to open our mouth, let's open our mouth. He said, how can he be spending millions annually and yet he cannot see value? He said, no more. That he's not doing it again. That the new policy he brought out is that anybody that wants to go for training in his organization, he will take it from your salary. What will push a CEO to go to that edge that he will take from the salary of people he sent on training? When training is supposed to be an investment, when training is supposed to add value to the organization, it's now a problem. And that's what Messi is just saying. The CEO has not seen the value. Everybody, even the CEO, is to blame. There are 6 people that are to blame in this thing the CEO has done. The CEO, which is the management, the HR and the L&D, the trainer themselves, the trainees themselves, the line managers, and the system. All of the 6 of them are to be blamed. And that is what we call the training transfer effectiveness ecosystem. These 6 people are to be blamed for what is happening in that organization. So that's what it is. So thank you so much for sharing with us, Mercy. And we hope that as we continue this campaign and this movement, people will listen and start doing the right thing. So there are 3 phases of training. We have the pre-training, which we've talked about, the pre-training, the during training, and the post-training. Now let's see why training fails in each of these phases. First of all, let's look at the misconceptions. A lot of people think training is a one-time event. No, training is not. And these are the common false assumptions about training. If we conduct training, employees will automatically improve. Is that true? True or false? If you conduct training with your employees and to automatically improve, please, we are taking a poll now. If it's true, do T. Oh, Thomas is not even allowing me to finish. If it's false, write F. True or false? I already have one false from Thomas. If you conduct training with your employees, it automatically improve because you conducted training, they will improve. Let's see. Mercy says false. Akimbola says false. Okay, great. So we have more falses. Yes, it is false. It is false. That you conducted training doesn't mean your employees. Esther says false. Olabanji says no. Yes, it doesn't. It doesn't. That's not what it means. Now let me ask. The responsibility of training effectiveness mostly or only the responsibility of training effectiveness belongs to the HR and L&D team. Only the HR and L&D team. True or false? The responsibility of training effectiveness, training transfer effectiveness belongs only to the HR and L&D team. False. Okay, we are seeing false from Olabanji, false from Thomas. So who else? Let me see the false. False from Esther. So if people are saying all this, then what is wrong in the organizations? False from Akimbola. If it is false, then why are we... No, I need to pause here. Let's start. Okay, let me finish asking the question. before I now ask what I want to ask. The last one, the last poll. A well-designed training session guarantees success, true or false? A well-designed training session
False. It's
guarantees
false.
false, 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 false. Okay. Now, if
False.
all of you are saying false, what is not the problem? Why are we not seeing application after training? Why are we not seeing return on investment? Why are we not seeing return on expectation? If all these things you're saying is false, because a lot of people say this is true. They say if you conduct training, employees will automatically improve, that the responsibility of training lies on the HR and L&D, and a well-designed training session guaranteeing success. If you're saying false, then what is the problem? Please, anybody, you can unmute your microphone, raise your emoji hand.
Yeah.
I'll
Can
call
I
you.
say something, madam?
Please, yes, please go ahead, Olabanji,
I
please. I
mean,
think that's
it's been
Prof.
proven. Yeah, it's been proven even in research that yes, a well-designed training session does not guarantee success, even when the first level and the second level is highly rated. And this is because it's a fault. You've talked about the ecosystem, the people within the ecosystem. And from my experience, most CEO want to send you to training. They don't like post-training coaching, which is very important. They think that you want to collect more money, and so what they do is that they cross it off even from the proposal. From my experience, I've trained CEOs severally across the world. They just cross it off. Say, "Oh, this man wants money. You have trained us. Why don't you just go and get another training somewhere?" And we say, "Well, no, no, no. We need to stay with you all along for the next 9 months to see that the training effectiveness is highly, it brings the necessary ROE and ROI." Say, "We don't need you. We have trained them. We are very busy." The Y wing, which we call Y wing, when we talk about the four disciplines, catch up, and then just like you said, within 2 weeks, they try to replicate what they have learned. Then after that, when it is not institutionalized through persistent coaching or what have you, and that's why we have only 30% training effectiveness without adequate follow-up and coaching. To achieve the other 70%, what you are saying is very important, and that is what many CEO does not want to do. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prof. Thank you so much. So germane. Thank you. You've just hit. Prof, you need to also drop your number and your email address. I'm sure, but I think we already have that, but still drop it. I think there are a lot of people we need to we need to connect it and do things together. We must push this movement forward. It is very, very key. Is there another person that
No,
wants to add? Yes, yes, you were
it will
saying
be
something,
great
Prof.
connecting with you, no problem.
Please,
I'm
it
in
will.
Kano. I work in the university in Kano.
Good, good. So please, favor, just private chat, Prof. He will drop his phone number and his email address. Let's reach out to him. So is there anybody that wants to add something else, or before I continue? Is there anybody? Okay. So basically, so that's really what it is, and it is indeed a big problem. So the truth is, training is a process, not an event. Success depends on what happens before the training even starts, before the first slide, before the people enter either a virtual class or a physical class, or even a virtual platform like e-learning. Those that have or they want to use those that use Udemy. Some people are using Udemy now to learn. Some are using Allison. Some are using the various platforms. Whichever platform, either before they even enter it. Success depends on what happens pre, during, and post. Now, let's see why training fails pre. One, lack of needs validation. A lot of organizations conduct training without verifying if training is even the solution to the actual business problem. They've not is training the solution? Is it really training? Someone shared with us last year, there's an organization they work with, and I even have my own experience, but let me share his own. And he said when he told the people about, because he's been attending training transfer effectiveness series, and told them that he needs to help them to ensure there's impact, there's return on investment, told him, forget that this thing, please. We have our quota. We need to finish this our budget. If we don't finish it next year, which is 2026, they will cut it. So do you want to train us or you don't want to train us? Forget those stories you're saying. So he said he was in between the red blue sea, and the devil and the red blue sea said, Coach Sandra, what will I do? I said, well, do you want me to tell you the truth? He said, yes. I said, I was once like you. So now I will tell you the truth and be transparent. You now decide what you want. I was once like you, whereby I needed to pay my bills. So if they don't want return on investment, they don't want return on expectation impact, no problem. Let's train and go. We take the money. I was once like that. I train for training sake. You don't want it, me, I will not bother myself. Oh. I will train. I just keep training. You want training? We're just delivering training. There was a training I went around the whole Nigeria. The bank was doing acculturation. So we went around. We trained. As in training wanted to kill me. I trained and trained. So I told him I was doing that because I had bills to pay. I needed the money. I said, not that now I don't need the money again, but things have changed for me. And so any organization that doesn't want to see impact, doesn't want to see application, doesn't want to see return on expectation and return on investment, I don't touch them. I don't go near them. We don't touch them. We don't go near them. And that's what we've been doing. We've lost so many businesses last year because they felt that no, that we are too strict, we are too stringent. It's not a problem. There are people that are ready for you to work with. Go and work with them. For us, we will not work with you if you don't want to see impact. You don't want to see application. You don't want to see your people apply. You don't want to see the value being shown to you. Don't worry. That was what I told. I said, now make your choice. So it is a choice. We as a business, we've taken it. We might be the only people doing it in Nigeria, in Africa, not a problem. One day, the Nigerian will say, one day, monkey go market, go come back. So one day when CEOs wake up to it, people will be searching for this because that's what it is. The last Harvard Business Review, which I shared it on some of the HR platform I belong to. Someone from Harvard wrote about this. I shared it. I said, see, this is from Harvard that you people all bow your caps to. This is the review from them. So a lot of organizations conduct training without even verifying if training is a solution. A lot of people, I'm sure you've heard of it. Some of your employees say, I don't know why HR sent me for this training. I'm not supposed to be in this training. I have seen it. Why a lot of people go for training to network, to have fun, to escape, to get per diem. You will never see return on investment. You will never see application. You will not see impact because you did not. Is this really a training need? The next thing, poor alignment with business objectives. Training cannot be designed in isolation. Note it. Training cannot be designed in isolation. Training must be designed in alignment. Take note of that. If you want to go and what's that word? If you want to go and hashtag it, but make sure you put my name. The Oracle said, training cannot be designed in isolation of business objectives. Training must be designed in alignment with business objectives. And that is where you will be able to see application. You will see what? Impact. You see ROI and ROI. All your training, no matter what it is, let it be aligned, be it directly or indirectly. Some will be directly aligned, some will be indirectly aligned. Let it be aligned with your business objectives, which is a lot of people, they don't ask the people. I heard of someone, an HR that did over 300 and something training last year. And I was asking her, how many of them were aligned with your business? She said, that they all, the line manager said they want to go for this, they want to go. She was sending all of them on the training. I said, you're sending them, you see? You see, people were just wasting money as a business. So when you don't align training with business object, you've already set up the training to fail. The next thing, wrong audience, the wrong selection of people. You see people in training and say, why did HR send me on this training? I don't need this training. I attended this training last year. Why am I attending this year again? Wrong people in the training. Training will already fail. Lack of leadership involvement. Your senior leaders, even the line managers, they will not support the training. Someone shared with us, okay, that was in one of our webinars, that one of the line managers, when his people went for training, they came back, he told them that those things they've learned, they should just keep it in their head or keep it where they learned it. Now let them come back and start doing what they know, what they've been doing. Get that? So that means before the training, the line manager was not in alignment that the person was going on that training, that the organization spent money, sent people on training, and you, line manager, will say that they should not use what they've taught them. They should drop it there and they should come and continue from where people stop. What the heck? What's the meaning of that? That is what we see in organizations. And that is being what we are still seeing. The leaders, senior, they must be stakeholder engagement. Leaders must be interested. Line managers must be involved. They must support and reinforce training. If not, training is already failing. No pre-training communications. A lot of participants don't know why they attend. Next thing, they just see their names that they've been chosen to attend this training. Say, why again? Why are they sending me on this training? No information, no pre-training information. You just list them and send them. Next week, you're going on this training. What does that mean? You just want to waste money as a business. Next thing, lack of employees buying. Employees see training as a force. This is a force rather than a valuable opportunity. I've seen people in class angry. They are angry. Like, please, can you say, madam, I don't need to smile. Oh. You're just seeing me here. My soul and spirit is not here. I don't know why they sent me here. This thing that I'm even doing, I don't need it. Why am I here? Very angry. You see the person walking out every time, always going to answer call. And this is a training that has been paid for. Thousands of naira, millions of dollars have been paid for. The last thing, no defined success metrics, no KPIs, no ROE, no ROI. Nothing is defined. You must define the measures, your success metrics. Define the KPIs, the key performance indicators for that training the person is going. Define the return on expectation. What are the expectations for management? Define it. How are we going to measure their expectations? Then, if it's an investment that is critical, are we going to do a return on investment on it? Are we going to look for the returns on investment on it? Because note, please, read my lips very well. It is not every training that you go as far as return on investment, evaluating the return on investment. Please take note. It is not all training you evaluate the return on investment. Do you have the resources to do that? Return on investment is not my mind. Do you have the resources? So according to Professor, is it Dr. Jack Phillips. Jack Phillips is the person, himself and his wife, Patty Phillips, are the ones that designed the return on investment methodology. Go and read up about them on YouTube and even on Google. They advise that, from research, they've been doing this for the past 30 something years, 5 to 10% of your training is you can evaluate it up to return on investment. It's 5 to 10%. Most times they even say 5% of it or 7%. So it's not, if you want to evaluate all your training to up to ROI, you cannot survive. It will be so much. So what are the defined success? So these are some of the reasons that make training to fail. Pre-training, at the pre-training phase, when all those things are not done and when some are done wrongly. So the second one is the during phase, which is the design and the delivery. One, poor training design, no engagement, no reward relevance. Some people told me that that there's a training they went for and they had a case study of 50 pages. I said 50 pages. Say yes. I don't want to call. I don't want to mention. We are live. I don't want to mention the 50 pages, some 70 pages. I say 70 pages case study. Interesting. I say at the end, it had nothing to do with what their problem. It had nothing to do with the organization. So a lot of trainers tend to forget because you want to impress the people coming for the training. You don't show practical application with the challenges in their business, the challenges in the organization. So when they go back, they relate what they've done to what they are facing, which is what we call in learning transfer in 12 levers. One of the learning transfer, we call it critical incidents. What they are facing in their businesses. When you bring it as a case study, as a role play in the organization, it retains, they remember it. The second one, overuse of theory without application. Participants are hearing concept. They're not applying anything. They're just hearing theory. No, we are not in a class to lecture. We are here for application. Lack of interactivity. One-way lecture. Because you're the subject matter expert, they dish out things. No, lack of exercises, discussions, and simulations. Irrelevant content. Training content does not match the job realities or solve real problems. Lack of personalization. A one-size-fits-all, which failed to address the various learning needs of the people in your class. Failure to set learning expectations. Participants do not know what they should apply after training. So and there's something in also in the Institute for Transfer Effectiveness we call transfer planning. Transfer planning is from during the training, they determine what are we going to do when we leave this place. It's very, very key. What they will start doing, what would they do based when they get back to the organization. Disengage participants. Why? Because the sessions are boring. You see some people on their laptop, working on their laptop. Some are even sleeping. Some are yawning. Why? Because the facilitators, no, I will not even call them facilitators. I'll call them trainers. Those trainers are nothing to write home about. They're not using facilitation skills. Then lastly, no manager support during the training. If managers were supporting and trying to find out, okay, what have you done? If it's a 2 days training, when they come back the first day, what did you learn? What was it saying? What is it you're bringing back to the organization, to your work, to your role? That thing you've learned, what are you bringing in back? So these are the reasons why training fails during training. So the last one is why training fails post-training. These are the issues we have. No post-training reinforcement. Training ends. There's no, you heard Prof even talking about no coaching, no accountability, no follow-up, no structures in place for them to be able to follow up. You must put structures in place. That's the only way. Why do you think someone will do something 2 weeks, 1 month, and the person is tired? There's no structure. If there's a structure, the person has to continue. Person knows he or she has to continue with what the person is doing. So what are the structures? If you don't put structures in place, that training will fail. It will fail. Lack of managerial follow-up. Managers are not helping. Now, managers are one of the key factors to ensure training. Another person shared with us during our ITech conference that manager, they sent people on Excel training. They came back. The manager doesn't know how to use Excel. He told them to not use Excel to send anything to him again. That if he ever sees anything that they send to him on Excel, he's going to deal with them. These are people they sent on Excel training to be able to make their work easier because manager doesn't know Excel. He said they should not send anything on Excel with Excel to him again. So the managers are not helping the employees to apply what they learn. They will forget it. They are not using it. They will forget it. We're going to see the forgetting curve very briefly after this. There's something we call the forgetting curve by Herman Ebbinghaus. If you Google him, you will read about it. He talked about the forgetting curve. That when you learn something and you don't start applying it, the rate of forgetting is high. He said when you've learned, okay, let me finish this before I talk about it. I wanted to share some of the things he said of when you learn. If, for instance, you've learned something and the 20 minutes has elapsed, you've not used it. He said you will forget at least 50, it's only 55% of what you've done, you remember. As in 20 minutes have elapsed, you've not used it. He said you forget 55%. He said when it increases to 1 hour and you've not used that thing, he said you will forget, or what will be left for you to remember is 44% of what you've learned. Then he said if it increases to 9 hours, then one day, the forgetting, it is dropping every day. Every time it is dropping. He said by 9 hours, you get to 9 hours, you've not applied. He said only 36% of what you've learned you remember. And it kept dropping. He said if it gets to one day I think he said you will be able to remember just 34% of what you've learned. It drops to 1 day. Then I think he said if it drops to 2 days, you'll be able to remember just 28%, yeah, of what you've learned. If it drops to 6 days, you can remember only 25%. Then he said if you leave it and it gets to 31 days, only 21% of what you read you will remember. It's called the forgetting curve. So you can imagine you need to ensure people are applying and consistently keep applying what they're learning. No performance measurement. Organizations do not track whether the skills or knowledge are being used or improving results. They don't care. We've already done it, we've done it. Managers will tell you they are very busy, that the work the load is just too much. Lack of organizational support, the work environment and culture is stifling and is killing those people from applying what they've learned. Is discouraging training application instead of encouraging training application. No training transfer strategies. If you don't have strategies to drive change, if you don't have intentional efforts to transfer learning, training will consistently fail. No motivation for employees to applying training. When employees do not see either the reward or consequences for applying their skills, their knowledge, new skills or knowledge, the training will fail. So there should be a training we did as an in 2 years ago for an organization. It's a well-known organization. I won't call it. They are into manufacturing, and we work with their service technicians. We came up with with an incentive, a reward. We told them, and they took it. It was one of the transfer tools we did. So for those that apply what they learn, at the end of the month, the employee, the service technician, the ST, so ST is service technician, that applied more of what they had learned, they are given a gift voucher that they can use to go and claim in various supermarkets. So that's an incentive, that's a reward. And you see, everyone wanted to apply it, apply what they are learning. So if there's no reward or consequence for not applying your knowledge or your skills, training will definitely fail. No continuous learning culture. You need to embed training as an organizational learning. Your organization should be a learning organization. That training, and by the way, training is not learning. Training is just a form of learning. I won't talk about that today because this is mistake a lot of people make. Last but not the least, there's no integration with their job roles. Training is not, the content of training is not linked to the job performance expectation. So it must be linked. So these are some of the reasons why training fails in the post-training phase. We've looked at the reasons why training fails in the pre-training phase, why training fails in the during training phase, why training fails in the post-training phase. Lastly, before I take questions, let's look at looking at our time. We have just 8 minutes to wrap up. The forgetting curve. Okay, this was what I was talking about. So you can see it. The forgetting curve. What Herman Ebbinghaus was saying about how you forget. I already talked about this. So what you retain, 20 minutes, you've not applied only 58% of what you can be able to retain, and so on and so forth. So he said, if new information isn't applied, we will forget about 75% of it after just 6 days. Yeah? Say, after just 6 days, we will forget 75% of it after just 6 days if it's not applied. And that's why I said after 6 days, only 25% is retained because you did not apply. So this is this. And I want to wrap up by saying training is an expense until learning shows up in performance. Take note. Training is an expense until learning shows up in performance. Training transfer effectiveness is what turns intent into impact. TTE should be your watchword. TTE should be your breakfast, your lunch, your dinner, and your appetizer. You should dream TTE. You should sleep TTE. You should drink TTE. You should fly, soar, whatever it is, TTE. Training transfer effectiveness is the new game changer for you to have a seat at the table as a trainer, for you to be called as a trainer to come and train for organizations, for you as an HR person, as an L&D person, to have a seat at the table, that they will invite you Training transfer effectiveness is the way to go. So if you need help from us, reach out to us. Let's talk about how we can help you build or repair your ecosystem. You can join our mastermind cohort 2. It will be starting March 2nd. You can invite us to speak with your leadership team. So reach out to us. Let us stop training for the sake of training. Let us help you to stop training for the sake of training. But let us help you build for transfer. Let us help you build for transformation. So this is the mastermind program. Go to our YouTube channel. You see the reviews. Go to our website. Go and read the reviews from those that have attended this mastermind training. It's a 14 weeks journey that will help HR and L&D professional become strategic business partners. The next course will be starting March 2nd. Do not miss this. Another thing we don't want you to miss is our International Training Transfer Effectiveness Conference. It's the first conference ever on showing organizations how to prove impact, return on investment, and return on expectation for their training. We had the first 1.0 last year. It was a success. And 2.0 is taking place this year. And our theme is technology, practice, and impact. It's going to be, we're going to feature more of practical sessions, mini workshops, networking, international certifications, and Q&A with certified transfer effectiveness expert. Do not miss this conference this year in Lagos, Nigeria, November 12 and 13, 2026. Go and start signing up now and go and pay for early bird before it gets to the normal price. Go for and pay for early bird. Okay, so what are the questions you may have for me as we wrap up? What are the questions you may have? What are the questions you may have? You can type it on chat or you can unmute your microphone, ask questions, observations, whichever. Okay, while I wait for questions and observation, I'm sure you're thinking. While you are thinking, this is what I need you to do before we meet next week, Thursday. What's your next line of action? What will be your next line of action as you're leaving this webinar today? While you're thinking about that, you have to try from everything you've learned today. You have to try just one practical tip from now until next week we meet. So when we meet next week, you share your experience with us so that this is an application webinar. It's not a theoretical webinar. Whatever you learn from here, you go and apply it. In conclusion, old ways won't open new doors. Old ways won't open new doors. Every impact-driven training starts with a bold conversation. So now, what will be your next line of action? What's your next line of action? A call to action. While you're at it, success doesn't come cheap. It comes with hard work. Are you willing to pay the price for success? The choice is yours now. What will it be? And on a final note, finally, be happy and feel good about yourself. Thank you, everyone. And I remain Coach Sandra Iheanacho. I'm known as the Oracle, Africa's leading voice on training transfer effectiveness. These are my numbers. These are my details. And reach out to me. So if we don't have any question, I'll stop sharing. If there are no questions, are there questions? If there are no questions, I would end the call. Thank you so much. Please, if you want us to reach out to you, drop your email address and your phone number. But I'm sure in the form you filled, thank you so much, Prof. Olabanji. Thank you. I'm sure from the form you filled, you already dropped your email address. If you want to work with us, just drop your phone number, email address. We'll reach out to you and let's see how we can move this movement forward. And for myself and my colleague Favor, we just want to say thank you everyone for joining us webinar this week. We look forward to seeing you again next week, Thursday. Tell somebody. Make sure when you're coming next week, you come with somebody. Tell somebody. Tell them about the Training Transfer Effectiveness series. Tell them about this webinar. Tell them, let them meet TT champions. We are looking for champions, Training Transfer Effectiveness champions that will spread the news. Let's stop training scrap in our organizations. Good night, everyone. Have a wonderful weekend, and we look forward to seeing you again next week. Favor, please take Prof's email. Prof have dropped his email. Prof, drop your number too. So I will stop recording, and we could just say